Hi guys, good morning. Let me just get my little blankie here because it's cold, and let me get myself sorted, pull my chair in, it's stuck on the cord. Okay. Good morning everyone, how you going? It's friggin' freezing here. Although the sun's out, it's cold. Like the window was all iced over this morning when I went to get my coffee. So I don't know where you guys are in the world, but it's definitely cold here in the mornings at the moment. Hello everybody who's in the chat. Jonathan was here first again. He is become my new UK fan. Thanks Jonathan, welcome. And yeah, PVP's here. How you going? And Gay. Gee whiz, Lyndall. Oh, I'm glad you've made it. Thanks for coming. Hi, Lainey. Hello, Bron. Hey, Cernok, my hat master. I nearly wore a hat today, actually. Look, I've actually got it here, Cernok. I was having a real bad hair day, and I actually pulled the hat out. Hey, Ian. Oh, who else is here? I just saw Flipper. Hey, Brad. Hey, Gimbal. Hey, Dave. Hey, Dwayne and Daryl. Oh, so many here. Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, I don't know. Today I kind of thought we might talk about like the charity shop pricing and just whether or not we think some of the charity shops are too high in pricing, whether or not we as resellers have the right to actually complain about the pricing in a charity shop. Like, is it okay for us to complain that they're too high priced? I don't know. I had somebody message me this week, and she was replying to something that I'd said, and I'm all for everybody having their own opinion, but she felt like I was having a whinge in one of my daily vlogs. That I was saying that the Vinnies pricing is too high, and her debate is her debate was that the charity shops have a lot of outgoing costs. They have to pay a lot of rent and yada yada, but they also give to the community so much, and they provide food vouchers and clothing, and they're helping the community in need. And I'm totally all for that point of view. And I'll just make the disclaimer here. I'm not saying that my point of view is right. And I won't say that in anything that I talk about ever. This channel is all about me giving my opinions and talking about what I do and my processes and my feelings. I'm never trying to, I hope nobody thinks that I'm ever trying to say that my way is the right way or the only way to do it. And I totally understand this lady's opinion on, how much the charity shops do for our community. Like, I will never dispute that. They are absolutely amazing. They do so much. They give so much back. However, I guess what my debate would be is that as resellers, we actually put a lot of money into the charity shops. And if the charity shops start pricing themselves out for resellers, then I really feel like it's my dog's growling. Sorry. I really just kind of feel like Poppy. I really feel I'm so sorry. I think there's a parcel man here. I think he might be delivering me something. Oh, Fletch. Can you check the door, please? Oh, sorry, guys. Wow, that just took my train of thought, didn't it? Can you hold on 1 minute, guys? Sorry. Don't worry about it, Fletch. Sorry.
That's all right.
I thought somebody was at the door. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Have a good day, bye. Parcel. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, guys. Apologies, I probably just lost everyone. Okay, so where was I? I was saying charity shops are amazing. I totally get why they have all their expenses. However, I do think that resellers make up a large chunk of their business. And if they outprice themselves by charging too much on items, then what it's going to do is it's going to mean that resellers start looking elsewhere to buy their stock. So if the charity shops become too expensive, where are we all going to go? We're going to go Facebook Marketplace to source. We're going to go to Gumtree to source. We're going to look at options for wholesaling to source. And we're going to have to explore other options and put our money elsewhere. I kind of feel like last year in the financial year, I spent over $30,000 pretty much between Salvos and Vinnies, between two types of charity stores. We don't have many other charity stores here where I live. There's a few small ones. They would make up the minority of where I spent my money. So I'm just one little reseller. So if I'm spending $30,000 in those charity shops a year, imagine how much all of us are spending in those charity shops. And if those charity shops become too expensive, then I won't be able to source in there anymore, and I won't be able to give that money to that charity shop. And my $30,000 is doing a lot more than the odd person who goes in there maybe once every month and spends $10. It's actually I actually feel like I'm donating to the charity. I would never be able to donate that amount of money to a charity each year. And, the fact that I'm spending 30 odd grand in their stores, like, I actually feel really quite proud of that. Like, not only is this job, fantastic for recycling, making things sustainable, reselling clothes so that they don't go to landfill. But I'm also donating a massive chunk of money each week to the charities that do help the wider community. However, if they charge too much, then I won't be able to source in there anymore, and I won't be able to give that money to the charity. So I'm all about, like, I would never haggle in a charity shop. I'm always happy to pay the advertised price, and I will pay up certainly for goods in a charity shop. Like, I've got no issue paying for something that I know I can make money on. I have spent $50 on a pair of shoes in a charity shop because I knew that I could sell that pair of shoes for $150. So the pricing is okay. I'm okay to pay up for items if I know I can make money on them, because at the end of the day, that's my job, and that's what I'm here to feed my family with. I'm here to resell for profit. So I know that it can be a bit of a controversial thing. Is it unethical to buy from a charity shop to resell to make profit? And I don't believe it is, because I'm paying the advertised price in the charity shop, and if I know that I can make more money on it, then that's great. I can make a job out of that. I think people forget that for me to make that profit on that item, I have to spend my time sourcing. I have to clean that item possibly. I might have to wash it. If it's a pair of shoes, I might have to, polish it up. There's actually a lot involved that goes with reselling, and there's a lot of fees and expenses that go with running a business. So, it's not all as easy as it's cracked up to be. But I guess my thrifting video that kind of stirred this up was, I was saying that after the COVID, I felt like the pricing of the Vinnie stores had increased significantly. And I can only compare that in my state. So I've gone to a lot of stores in my state, and I feel like there's been a price rise. And I've spoken to resellers in other states, and they're also finding the same thing. So I guess the question is, are they charging too much? Because I feel like some of the pricing is even too expensive for people who need the charity shops. So we don't need the charity shops because we're not affording our own clothes or whatever. You've got a couple of different types of people who are shopping in the charity shop. You've got people who actually need to shop in that charity shop because they're low income and they need affordable clothing. You've got people who want to look for vintage items, rare items, different items, because they've got a unique personal style and they want to rock those items and look totally funky. And then you've got people like us who are resellers who are there to buy on sale to make profit. So I kind of feel like they're outpricing themselves for all of us. So the people who want to go there and dress trendy and hip and buy the specialty and rare and unique items and vintage, they're possibly not going to have a problem paying up for that money. Like they're going to be happy to pay $30, $20 for a vintage T-shirt, like no problem. But the people who actually are struggling financially, I actually think they're going to struggle to pay some of the pricing in there. And I think one of my biggest rants is that it's inconsistent and pricing items that are actually more expensive than what they are in the shops. So Big W, Kmart, Supre, Target, often they are charging more for them in a secondhand shop where the item has been worn than what you could get new in the store or on a sale rack in the store. And I don't, sometimes you even find them, they've got the tag on them and the Vinnies price is actually tagged more expensive than what it was for the person who originally bought it. I don't agree with that. That's not what I agree for. And you know, at the end of the day, I'm not buying a lot of those cheap brands to resell. I am picking through and looking for the more expensive brands, and I am prepared to pay up for a more expensive brand if I can make profit. I'm not saying that I won't pay up for profit, but I do think that if they outprice themselves, they're certainly going to lose a lot of business with resellers. And I'm not sure if charity stores could actually survive without resellers. And I'd love to hear your opinion on it. So let me check the chat because I haven't checked it. I kind of feel like perhaps some of these charity shops now should have, like, I know they've got boutique sections in some of the stores where they charge a little bit more, but maybe some of these stores actually need specific boutique stores. So they're not actually the charity shops where people are going to who are in need or who want to buy, cheap stuff to on sell. I mean, I like to buy the cheap stuff that's marked down to $2 as bread and butter. I sell a lot of bread and butter items, so I'm quite happy to buy cheaper brands if I can get them for the cheaper price. And resellers, because we are buying a lot of stock, especially somebody like me who likes to buy a lot of bread and butter, well, what we're actually doing in turn is rotating the stock. So by us buying a lot of that stuff, it's putting all the stock on rotation and it's bringing new stock in for buyers who are looking to dress themselves in cool stuff. Okay, let's see where I am. Oh, Deepa G, she's super chatted. Thank you so much, Dolls. She's going back to bed. Thank you. I saw your comment on Instagram. It was a great comment, and thank you so much for the super chat. You didn't have to do that. Hey, Rod. Bron's saying they ain't going to have much money to feed the homeless, charging $20 for a used old model country road top. Bye-bye resellers. We're going to source elsewhere. Yeah, I mean, obviously, somebody who genuinely just needs clothes because financially they can't afford much. Okay, well, one, if you're at the homeless level or, totally poor level, and you go into one of those charity shops and say, I don't have any money, I need clothes, they will give you clothes. I've seen it happen. They will fit you out with clothes if you genuinely cannot afford anything. So $20 is a lot of money, isn't it, for a used, even for a country road or a witchery brand. It's tricky. And, sometimes I think the charity shops, yes, they're looking on eBay And maybe because they know that resellers are coming in and we have influenced them into knowing that we can resell it for more. But at the end of the day, our process actually takes a lot of work because we buy from the charity shop. Then we come home and we might wash it, we might iron it. We have to spend time photographing it nicely so it's very presentable. We spend time listing it. We spend time packaging it. We have packaging costs. We have eBay fees. We have PayPal fees. We have our time as much. Our time is money, and we can't give away all our time for free. So, there's actually a reason why we can charge more than what the local charity shop is. I mean, the local charity shop has only so many people coming through it each day or each week. The eBay platform is absolutely massive to reach out to thousands and thousands of people each day. But it takes work to get it onto the eBay platform, and it takes work on our behalf to make the item even presentable. So I'm not quite sure. I don't kind of feel like these stores can be charging the same amount as eBay or attempting to charge the same amount as eBay unless they're running maybe like a specialty boutique store where they're actually spending that time cleaning the items up, pressing them nicely, and it's much more of a boutique system rather than just the charity shop. Charity shops would struggle without resellers. I really do agree. I think there's so many resellers in the community, in the world, in the state. It's also a growing trend to be a reseller. It's a growing business. It's a growing side hustle. So there's some of us doing it full time, some of us doing it part time, some of us doing it as a little side hustle. And whether or not you're buying 5 items a week at the charity shop, or you might be buying 100, 200 items a week at the charity shop, like I try to, then, it's a lot of money. If you were to, every single person that was a reseller, if we get outpriced, the charity shops are going to struggle. And I totally understand that the charity shops have high expenses. I totally understand that the stores have sales goals to meet, just like any other retail business. They've got staff to pay. They've got overheads. I totally do get all that. I'm not disputing that. I'm not prepared to pay money for items at the thing. As I said, I spent $30,000 in the last 12 months between pretty much two chains of charity shops. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that me as a single reseller is putting back into my local community. And there's many, many, many more resellers in this community than me. So times all that money, and it's a hell of a lot of money for them to risk jeopardizing, because it's a lot of money. Overpricing themselves is I don't think it's great for their business. I do understand they have overheads. I do understand that not always cheap is going to bring in more sales for them. But I do think that they need to have some cheaper stuff to encourage rotation. And to encourage rotation will bring in new buyers as well, from whether or not they're resellers or just buyers in general. There's nothing worse than when you go into a store and then a week later you go back to the store and you pretty much just see exactly the same stock, and the racks are absolutely so full that you can barely even flip through to see them. But when you're a reseller and you're going into the same stores week after week, you start to see the same stock, and it's flick, flick, flick. Well, that stock, what's it going to do? It's either going to end up in landfill because it's just too high priced, and that's the reason why a lot of it's not moving, because it's too expensive. It's the same stock sitting there on the same racks, and it's just simply for the price that it's too much. I'm all for helping charity, but when they get greedy, that's when my interest fades. Yeah, I do think that like, I think it's greedy if there's an item of clothing hanging on the rack that's got a tag on it that's brand new that says it was on sale for $10, so you know somebody's paid for $10, and then the charity store tag has it for $15. Well, they're charging more than what somebody paid for it. Even if the original price was more than that, it was already marked down because it hadn't sold. So I don't like that. I don't like seeing cheap brands like Kmart and Big W and Supray, which are all very churn and burn style, cheap labor stores, charging so much money. I mean, when I saw a Big W top in there the other day for $20 for a plus-sized basic T-shirt almost, I was just like, it's just ridiculous. And no, that wouldn't have been a top that I wanted to buy to resell. But why would anyone pay $20 for that brand? Because you know that you can go and get it at the store. I don't know. I feel like sometimes they're catering for people who don't know their brands, and then that's almost feels like they're ripping them off. I mean, those charity stores must see so much Kmart, Target, Supray, Big W. They must know those brands. They must know which ones comes from which stores. Anyone who is happy paying over the top prices in order to resell and still making living, then I'm sure we're all more happy to listen to. We're happy to listen to how they do it. Look, I think there comes a certain point as a reseller. There comes a point where you have to look at an item and go, I can't make enough money on that to resell, so I have to leave it. So if I go into the store and see a pair of jeans, Levi jeans for $20, I know that, yes, for somebody else who's just shopping and wants a pair of Levi jeans, then they're probably pretty happy to pay $20 for a pair of Levi jeans, even though I think that's high for a charity shop. They're probably pretty happy because they know if they go to the store, they're going to pay $80 plus. But as a reseller, I know that, I might only get $40 for my Levi jeans, and I have to incorporate my costs, my time, my sourcing time, my cleaning time, my listing time, my storage, the storage space that it takes up, my packaging satchel costs, my time that I have to drive to the post office. So then it rules me out. Whereas if those jeans had been $7 to $10, then they would go straight into my cart because I know then I can make enough profit off them. So, $20, how many more? I don't know. It's such a big debate. How many more resellers are shopping than standard people just looking for clothes? It's a really, really hard debate. Where are we? I don't know. Hello, Marilyn. I'm trying to remember your name. Salvos opened here post-COVID, and they're charging much less than our Vinnies for similar stock, about a third. Now, Reg, I also noticed a big difference here in my local state. Salvos are much more affordable than Vinnies. Vinnies, even I find that on their 50% off weeks, I actually struggle to even find a lot of items for 50% off. And I don't know if they clear a lot of them out fairly quickly. I know that Vinnies do actually rotate their stock, I think, every 4 weeks, and then they send it off to another store. So they are trying to keep rotation. But I think the thing is, Salvos move the stock a lot faster because they have their $2 days, their 50% off days, and they've got 2 colors every single week that are on discount. And you can actually go in there as a reseller and get quite a lot of bread and butter items for a lot of money. And I know I go in there and I'll have a shopping cart. I'll have like 150 items. If I can get bread and butter at the right price, I'll have 150 items of clothing in my cart. I go to the counter and pile it up. That's a massive chunk of stuff that I'm taking away from their store, freeing up space for new stock for people who are looking, saving it from landfill, and recycling. it's also a lot of work for me to then go home and do. Yeah. I feel like they have put their prices up due to COVID, but they are doing it the wrong way. If they lower your prices and people will buy more and come back more often, so then you'll make your money quicker. Yeah, I mean, it's a similar business model, isn't it, Gay, to reselling? You've either got your fast dime or your slow nickel. Like you either do a churn and burn type business, or you're happy to let things stuff and sit there and take longer to resell. So the charity shops could have the same kind of option. They either mark it down and move it faster, especially for resellers to buy. They price it higher and they're happy to have it sit there longer. But I would have thought with the amount of stock that they get coming in on a daily basis that they actually need to have a bit of a churn and burn style business model. And perhaps if they had more specialty stores that were set up specifically for more boutique items where they could have less stock and they could have it more specialized, then maybe they could sit there and have that room to have it as a slow dime business model. But on the basic charity store, I really think that they need to be working off a churn and burn. They have so much stock being dumped at their doors every single day. And some days we all know that we go in there and those racks are so tight, you can barely even open them to see the actual brand or sizing of the item because there's just so much on the racks. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely feel like the pricing has gone up after COVID. And I do understand that they've probably had to donate more money. Not donate more money, that's the word. They've probably had to help more families during COVID. Like there's more people who have been financially struggling in the community. And I do think that the charity shops are probably giving a lot more in the last few months to people in need, and they need more money because obviously their shops did shut down for a period of time, or some of them maybe still shut down. I guess it's that fine balance, isn't it? Like everybody's waiting to go back to the charity shops either because they're reselling or because they're actually financially struggling and they need cheap clothing, and then they go in there at this time and it's more expensive. So it's a real catch-22. Melbourne op shops are charging stupid amounts. It used to be you could go in with $20 and come out with 4 or 5 items. Yeah, it's pre-loved, reloved. It's I don't know, it's tricky, it's really hard. Like I totally get that the charity shops, I'll never try and debate what the charity shops do for our community, how much they give back, how much they help people who are struggling. And I will never debate the fact that these charity stores are also a business and they need to make money for their charities. Do you know what I mean? They are businesses that are trying to make money for their charity. And as businesses, they do have a lot of expenses, just like we all have expenses. But I think when you run a business, you need to look at your customer base. And I think a massive chunk of a charity shop customer base is resellers. And they can't forget about us or ignore us, and they can't price things so that they outprice us, because I think that will do their businesses harm, and by doing their business harm, it's going to do harm towards the charity because they're not going to have as much to give back. Kent, hello Kent. They have found out that people are willing to pay the higher prices. There's plenty of resellers don't even know they are losing money at the prices they are selling for. Totally agree. Resellers, I've noticed even with my eBay sales, a lot of lower offers since COVID, especially on clothes. And, I don't want my clothes sitting there as dead stock, so I'm taking lower offers because I still want to be moving my stock along and, keeping the stores fresh. there's definitely people who will pay higher prices, especially for the vintage stuff and stuff that looks cool and they've got that unique look about them. People who have such a unique style will spend their money to look cool, just as us commoners would pay $60 for a Nike jumper to look cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, somebody will happily pay $60 for like some vintage Care Bears t-shirt, and some of us would be prepared to pay $60, $100 for, Nike or Adidas or Ralph Lauren or whatever it is. We've all got our different styles, and some people's styles, they can only get in charity shops, so they are willing to pay up. And I guess as resellers, we've even had to pay up because this is our business and this is our livelihood. And, however, by us paying up, it means that, we're making less money. And like you say here, some resellers, especially new resellers who don't know their numbers, they will be losing money at the prices, because if their buy-in is too expensive, and then you don't sell it for enough, where's your profit? There isn't profit. So, as resellers, we make our money by buying in low. We need our buy-in cost to be low so that we can make money. And, there is that debate about whether or not resellers are unethical. But at the end of the day, we're just here trying to do our job, make money for our families. This is just, I just think of the charity shops as like my wholesaler. That's where I go to get my stock. It's not like I'm trying to rip anybody off by buying the stuff or buying the good stuff before other people who want to shop there for their own clothes can go in and buy it. I have to spend the hours looking through those racks and searching for good brands, and it's time consuming and it's hard, but it's my job. It allows me to stay home, work around my children. My children are on school holidays now, so I don't have to worry about going off to work while kids are home on school holidays. There's so many benefits and there's so many reasons why people resell. Yeah. Happy early birthday, Mel. Thank you. Yeah, it's my birthday next Monday. 44, getting old. I'm gonna have some drinks with Andrew on Saturday. So pop over to Andrew's channel and I'll have to watch how many I have. Don't want to get myself into any trouble again. Hilarious, Stuff Games value, right? You didn't pay $300 for a Mambo loud shirt in the 90s. No, that's right. So people are paying $300 for a Mambo shirt because, either one, they might be it's a collectible item. So somebody might be a collector, or that's just somebody's personal style, that they love vintage. They love cool, that style, that look, and there's nothing wrong with that. Somebody is happy to go into the retail shop and pay $700 for some R.M. Williams, boots, because they love them and they value them. So somebody who wants to pay $300 for a Mambo loud shirt values that item, and people will spend money on what they value. So that's what it comes down to. They're either valuing it that because they're a collector, they're valuing it because they just absolutely love the style and they want to rock that shirt. A lot of us would not think twice. I mean, we sell things often and we go, holy moly, I can't believe somebody just paid that for that item. Like the other week when I showed you that I sold that cookbook for $99. And we're all like, who wants a cookbook for $99? But somebody valued that author or that book or that coffee table book, and they valued that. So they're happy to pay for that. And people who are shopping genuinely because they want to buy funky, unique items in a charity shop, well, that's where they're going to get them. You don't get unique items by going to Target and Valley Girl and different things like that, do you? You get your unique items by buying rare items or vintage items and stuff like that. where are we? I'm trying to go back. Since reopening, I'm trying to stick to the Salvos $2 Monday, but I'm fortunate that I have a few near me. Shelley, you can often get a lot at the Salvos on the $2 days. I find that they have a lot of stock sitting there available for the $2 days. So what does that tell you? But that the $2 days is every 4 weeks. Is it 4 or 5 weeks? Salvos have 4 or 5 colors. By the time it gets to that 5th week, it's marked down to $2. I think it's 5 colors that they've got. So that means that stock has been sitting there at full price for 5 weeks, and then they've now reduced it so that they can move it out the door and they can keep their stock rotation. But 5 weeks for clothing in a retail store is actually quite a long time. I mean, you'll see that even in big stores like Myer and David Jones and the big stores, like after about 5 weeks, they are also clearing out the stock because they've constantly got new stock coming in for seasons, and they have to make sure that the old stuff gets out the door for the new stuff. So Salvos have got the right idea, but what you will notice is there's an actual lot of stock that you can buy for $2. So that means there's a lot of stock that's sitting there that people aren't just prepared to pay the full price on because it's too expensive. Hi, Dave. Sometimes the volunteers don't have any idea what they're doing. You know, they've got a variety of volunteers, and there's volunteers there for different reasons. I mean, there's some people who just choose to volunteer in these stores. There's other people who are made to volunteer in these stores because they are maybe have done something with the law and they have to do some community service. They also have, it's amazing. They have disabled children come in there and children with special needs, and they come in and they help put stuff on the racks. And, most of the time those kind of volunteers, they're not the ones behind the counter. You'll notice that the ones behind the counter are more the paid workers, or the ones sorting the stock are more, half of them would be paid workers and some of them would be volunteers. But, they do amazing for the community in the way that they do let, special needs kids and things come in and work like they've got a job. One of my stores, every week I go in there and there's this same group of disabled children that come in, and one of the little boys, his name is Liam, and he's like my best friend now. He comes in, he knows what car I've got, he knows what I'm buying, he brings items over to me and says, do you want this week? And he's awesome, and it's so amazing that these kids get that opportunity to work there. But some of the volunteers don't, and that's why there's a discrepancy with pricing between stores, because I guess it's hard to make the stores all charge a similar amount, but it is a little bit crazy when you can go into one store and get something for $4 for a skirt. You could walk into the next store and you could pay $15 for the same item if it was in the other store. The big charity shops here raised the DVD movies from $2.99 to $3.99 when they reopened. Most DVDs aren't worth that used. Walmart sells sealed movies for $4.99. Yeah, that's pretty high, $3.99 for a DVD. I wouldn't pay more than $1 here, PVP. Yeah, it's tricky. Our British Heart Foundation offers finance on furniture. Oh, wow. Like, really? No. That's crazy. In my Vinnies last week, there was a box of Lego. Now, it was old Lego. It was pretty old. I did look at it. And it was an NBA set. And it was in quite a big box. They had $200 on this box. Now, you wouldn't even know if all the pieces were in it. $200 for a used, opened pack of Lego. I don't know. I just think, like even in the thumbnail to this video, a pair of jeans was $80. Now, yes, they were G-Star, and yes, G-Star is a good brand, I wouldn't even get $80 if I sold those on eBay. And $80, quite frankly, if I wanted a pair of G-Star jeans for $80, I could go to the DFO outlet and get a pair probably for $80. Like, $80 seems ridiculous for a charity shop to sell jeans. And they had lots of pairs of jeans for $50 plus in that particular charity shop. And it just blew my mind. I was like, this is crazy. Like, no charity shop should be selling a pair of jeans for $80. I don't care how many expenses they have. I think it's actually rude, and it's surely those people who are struggling with money must walk into that shop and see a tag like that and just feel sick that they are struggling financially, and this shop that's meant to be a charity shop with reasonable prices has items that are used marked there for $80. I think it's I think that must be quite almost upsetting and embarrassing for those people to actually see those pricing. Like, I think that's crazy. World in My Eyes, welcome, that's a new name. Charities need to remember that they get the stuff for free and they need to churn and burn. It winds me up when they refuse donations because they are full of stock, so sell it cheaper. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. They've only got limited space, don't they? They can't store everything if they don't have a churn and burn model. I do think that maybe if the charity stores do want to go down this way, and I understand that they're businesses and they want to make profit, but I do kind of feel like if they want to go down a more boutique way, then perhaps they need to open up specific boutique stores. There would be nothing wrong with doing that, but they have to put the time and effort into then, cleaning those items up, presenting them nicer, making the store a lot nicer, the shop fit out nicer, different. There needs to be more consistency then in the pricing. Probably a store that wasn't full of volunteers, maybe paid workers. If you want to charge boutique higher end prices on secondhand, then make it a more boutique style store. We have one store here where I am, and it's not a big chain. It's an individually owned business, and they sell secondhand items. And the store is actually made up of multiple sellers. So you can actually go in there. You must be able to pay like a certain amount and set up like a little corner of the space. You get your own little shop almost in it. And the prices in there are high, and that's because, they are. It's rent, it's more boutique. The items are all much more specialty. You don't go into that shop looking for bread and butter items to resell. You go in there looking for something nice to wear for yourself, or a specialty pair of jewelry or something like that. Perhaps Vinnies and stuff need to start having more of a split up. I know they have smaller sections for boutique items, but they're only small items, small parts of the store, and the pricing on the other stuff is still really high. So maybe they need to separate it. Maybe they need more of the churn and burn cheap, and then they need more of a boutique. I'm not sure. I just worry that they're going to outprice resellers, and I feel like resellers get a little bit of a bad rap when we do complain about the high fees. And I don't feel like it's wrong for us to complain about the high fees, because at the end of the day, this is our business. And if we were buying something from another wholesaler and then all of a sudden they just kept whacking their prices up to the point where we couldn't buy for them, then we'd probably complain about that wholesaler. So I guess I like to think of the charity shops as my wholesaler. And once they start overpricing themselves, then yeah, I'm going to have a little bit of a rant, because, obviously it makes it harder for me. But I also feel a little bit disappointed, because I feel like I'm giving so much money each financial year to that charity shop that by them outpricing me, then it's doing the community a disservice almost. So it's now easier to get rid of your items from home without even leaving your couch than it is to donate to charity shops. Yeah, because some of them aren't taking them. With Facebook now, especially for people who just want it gone for free. I mean, you see it all the time on Facebook. free, out here's the address, it's on the driveway, come get it. And it's just pretty much come get it till it's gone. And people will do that. Rod's having an argument. Oh, Rod's having an argument. Fancy that. Rod had an online argument with Salvos eBay store. They advertised the weight in the listing as 250 grams. We're charging for a 3-kilo bag. Well, this must have been when they were charging by weights. And their answer was, we're a charity. So that must have been, they must have meant that they could charge whatever they wanted because they're a charity. So I don't agree with that. However, I don't know, like if you've got a weight-based postage, then, you know, you should be charging to the weight accordingly. I guess now we just have satchel sizes, what goes in the satchel, you know, that's what we charge. It's so much easier, really. I think I'm trying to read, sorry, I'm trying to go back. The trouble is they look at eBay and they see stuff listed at crazy prices and think that's what it sells for. Yes, but they do, but they're also not looking at all the other stuff that goes with eBay, the time and the money and the expenses and the fees and, yeah. Salvos give vouchers and they have high value amounts, so they don't have to give it away. Salvos have vouchers and they have high value amount, so they don't have to give it away. I'm not 100% what that means, Adam. If you can go to the Walmart or the dollar store for cheaper and get new stuff, most people will go there instead. Absolutely. You know, I can go and get my kid cheaper tracksuit pants at Best and Less for new. I went there the other day. I went and bought Maisie some tracksuit pants for $6. Brand new, just plain tracksuit pants. But sometimes you go into the charity shops and the kids shop is still, kids stuff is like $3 or $4. And we all know kids stuff is pretty worn, and they churn and burn it. So I don't know. I'd rather go in there and pay $6. I know a lot of that stuff is unethical in the way that it's made. It's churned, it's burned, it's made in factories with these poor workers who are underpaid. But $6 for a pair of trackies, well, you know, I'm not going to go pay $4 for a used pair at Vinnies. I'd rather go and pay $6 for a new pair. So if something goes wrong with it, I can return it. There's an op shop nearby that has a sign on the door that says, take what you need and pay what you can afford. I never buy there to resell. What an amazing charity store to do that. And, you know, I think that's amazing that you're also not taking advantage of that situation. And, you know, I think sometimes as resellers we get a bad rep. Like some people would think that we would just go in there and take that stuff for pittance so that we can make the money off it there. We're not there to actually, you know, do a disservice to the charity shop. We actually are there and we do pay the prices that are on offer. We never haggle. Never haggle. You know, and quite often we're happy to pay prices that are higher if we know we can make the profit on the item. But yeah, like I'm saying, if they are pricing things that are, you know, just too high on basic items, then, you know, that's hard. Obviously, if we go in there and we see a Louis Vuitton handbag, we're going to expect, if it's a genuine handbag, we'd want to be paying up for that. I don't like going in there and seeing fake handbags and charging lots of money. RSP's Gold Coast, they must be feeding those animals gourmet free-range chicken with caviar on the side because they charge too much for the clothes. It's outrageous. Now, one thing that Bron has noticed is quite an increase in Queensland stock since COVID. And I was up in Queensland with Bron. When was it, Bron? End of February. I went up there for a weekend and we went thrifting. And the clothes there were very reasonably priced, much more cheaper than down here where I am. So, you know, we were paying like $4 for like Country Road and Witchery tops. And, you know, Bron has said now that those same tops have gone up to like $15 for the same tops that she would have been getting 3 months ago for $4. So that's a big jump, isn't it? You know, that's $4 to like $14, $15. That's a huge price increase. There's also a lot of people who just like to hunt for a bargain, and they'll be losing some of that market too. Yes, there's something about the thrill of going in there and finding something that's really cool for a bargain price. And yes, you're right. There's a lot of people that do love to do that. I'm in one of the op shop groups on Facebook that's not about reselling. It's just for people who love to go op shopping. And, you know, there is people in there that they just thrive on going on there and buying, you know, finding, it's the hunt of finding something for cheap. Hey, Laura. Where are you? This chat, it's so hard to read the chat. Oh, here we go. Adam's explaining. Salvos give out vouchers to needy people, say $200, instead of the $200 being used to buy a lot of items. The high price forces people to only buy what they need. Also, some resellers haggle. Okay, so what you're saying is Salvos will give out the $200 voucher for their store to people in need. So if the stuff is too expensive, then they're going to get less for their $200. Whereas if their store has stuff priced really well, then they'll be able to go in there and buy a lot more, you know, basically get a lot more bang for your buck. So, yeah, also I guess that in a way, isn't it, like, you know, if the items are priced too high, then those people who need it, especially imagine if you're a family like me, like I've got 4 kids. So imagine if I like needed that $200 voucher to go in and clothe 4 kids. You know, like if everything's priced too high, then, you know, I'm not going to get much for my money, am I? Like, and when you have 4 kids, you know, plus yourself and your husband or your partner, if you've got one, you know, like 6 of us, it's expensive to clothe. I swear there are up-shop bus tours near me, and that's why some stores are going more the boutique pricing route. I'm not sure. I do know that when I went to Queensland, there was a bus that was going around, but I think they were actually from the nursing home because they were all elderly. And, you know, that bus seemed to be going to the same stores that we were, one after the other. We kept running into all these elderly people in the store. But, you know, elderly people as well, they don't have a lot of money. So, you know, they're going to, I'm sure if my granny's 92 and she used to shop a lot in the charity shops when I was younger. I'm sure if I took her into there now, she'd be horrified at some of the pricing, you know, because she used to go in there and get a bargain. Hello, Magic Mel. Hey, David. Small fish are sweet. Sometimes the cheapest books bring in the biggest return for the money invested. We must have been talking about books somewhere. But yes, sometimes things that you get for the cheapest do bring in great return. Ian's plugging me up here. Everybody go. I've seen him write that quite a few times. Thank you, Ian, my moderator, giving me a thumbs up plug. My electrician is a reseller. He buys at trade and adds his extra dollars. Reseller. Yeah, I mean, we're all just basically, everybody's a reseller in the retail world, aren't we? It doesn't matter if you're reselling secondhand or you're reselling new. You still got to buy the stock from somewhere to resell it for profit. So it doesn't matter where you buy it, whether or not you're buying from secondhand or if you're buying from a wholesaler or a dealer or whatever it is. We've all got to buy our stock from somewhere to resell it for money. I don't know. I feel like, I guess this conversation was sparked because somebody thought that I was whinging about the price increase at Vinnies. And in my video, yes, I probably was whinging about the price hike. Whinging, whether or not that's the word, or just shocked at some of the pricing. You know, like some of the pricing that you see on items for cheap brands, $20, $25, it just blows me away that they think that they can get that much money for it. I'm sure most of that stuff is still sitting there weeks later because it's just too expensive to buy. I will never dispute. I never want anyone to think that I'm disputing that charity shops don't do so much for the community and have a huge amount of expenses. I absolutely agree with that wholeheartedly, 100%. But as a reseller, I do think there's that debate of, if you don't like it, don't buy it. A bit like the debate with the eBay fees. If you don't want to pay them, don't sell on eBay. And I'm totally for that. I've done a video about that. Stop whinging about your eBay fees, because you're choosing to use that platform. And I guess in some way we're choosing to buy our stock from a charity shop. So maybe we shouldn't be complaining about the prices. But I think it's just when the prices just suddenly go up so much that's when we all kind of sit there and have a bit of a vent and a rant and go, okay, well, these prices have really gone up lately and it's now outpricing us. But, it also irks me, I guess, because in a way I do feel like I'm donating a really lot of money to these charity shops each year. And I'm not the only one. You guys are all donating money to the charity shop. And I can't afford to donate that amount of money otherwise. And it makes me feel good that this is my job and I get to donate. So it kind of irks me if they put the price up and then I have to go look on Facebook and Gumtree, which I can do. I can buy my stock on Facebook and Gumtree. I can actually get stuff sometimes cheaper by buying bulk loads on Gumtree. I bought a bulk load the other day on Gumtree and got it for a hell of a lot cheaper than I would have paid in my local Vinnies. But, at the end of the day, it is nice knowing that we're paying money to a store that is helping our community, our local communities, and our local people in need. So it does irk me a little bit and make me rant if their prices are going up to the point where then I feel like I can't donate that money anymore. Yeah, where are we? The plug doctor. Yeah, you're plugging me always. Thanks, Ian. Yep. Do you keep a map of the op shops and ignore these op shops maps? Do you keep a go-to map of op shops and ignore these op shops maps? David, I guess where I live, I know where all my op shops are, and I normally will do one side of town one day, and I might do multiple stores all over that side of town, and then another day I might do another section of town, and then another day I might do, if I've got a busy day, I might do the stores that are closer to my home. If I've got a whole day to go out sourcing, then I'll generally go over the other side of town and have a bit of a look around there. Is that what you mean? I don't really pull up a map and look at a map so much unless I was going out of town, and then I would need to look at a map. Saw an interesting title yesterday. New price $19.95, Vinnies price $10. I don't know where that is. Plug someone else. The stores aren't stupid. This wide world web has taught stores the prices. Resellers are in abundance on YouTube. It does not take much for op shop staff to research how to price. No, and I guess that's another debate. Like, are resellers shooting themselves in the foot by coming onto YouTube and talking about pricing and our hauls and what we're buying for and what we're selling for? I guess my channel isn't so much like that. I'm not really one of these channels that comes on here and shows you everything I buy and shows you what I sold each week or whatever. I've never really wanted to be that kind of channel. Those kind of I do one every now and then if I've got like an exciting haul or a large haul that I've picked up or something. But on a general basis, I don't really come here and show you what I buy every week and tell you what I've sold every week. At the end of the day, we all live in different areas and we've all got different business models. And, you know, what I sell in my business might be not what everybody else wants to sell in their business. And if everybody sells the same stuff, then, you know, it does make business harder for ourselves, I think. You know, there can come a time where you flood the market if everybody knows like what we all buy. And I also think it's good for everybody to have different interests and different things that they want to sell and experiment in different things. Not everybody wants to sell the same as me, and I certainly don't want to sell the same as everybody else. We can't make livings doing that. It is easy for the op shop staff to research on YouTube and Instagram and kind of see what we're doing. However, by outpricing us, then their businesses in turn will also suffer, because we make up a large chunk of their business as resellers, and they need us. I think charity shops need resellers, and if they try and match our pricing, then they certainly lose a big chunk of business. And you've got to remember that our local charity shop only has, I don't know, how many people do you think go through a small charity shop on a daily basis? 100? I actually have no clue. Some stores would be busier than others. But, if they've only got 100 people coming through their door each day, but on eBay, we've got like thousands of people coming through our store each day. So the charity shops really can't afford, if they've only got 100 people coming through their day and only maybe 10 of those people are prepared to pay higher pricing, then they're really going to shoot themselves in the foot, because they're just not going to have enough of a client base who wants to pay that amount of money. Whereas eBay, people are looking for something more specific. I don't know. Has anyone else got any questions? I've been going for an hour. I've been talking about this nonstop. I should have a drink. Got my weekly Coke here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want people to think that I whinge, I guess, about pricing. I do understand that they're businesses and they need to make money. So I guess I just wanted to talk about that and just make people aware that sometimes we'll have a little rant that they're too expensive, or maybe I'm just surprised that they're too expensive. But I think as a reseller, it is part of, like, I'm here on YouTube to share my experiences and my journey with you. And if I make a daily vlog that's about sharing my day going to the op shop as a reseller, well, I'm out there looking through the store to find the cheap prices. And if I only keep finding like high prices that particular day, then my vlog might become about all I got was high prices today. It's not really that I'm trying to rant or put these businesses down or be ungrateful for the service that they offer, because I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the charity shops and what they give and what they offer and how they help the community. So grateful. So grateful that I can be part of that and put my money, have a business where I put my money into giving back to the community. I love that. I love the thought of that. I think that's that makes me feel good. That makes me feel like I've done a good deed. If I go into Vinnies and spend $200 in a day, I actually feel like I've done a good deed for the day. I'm grateful that I've been able to spend that money in there, because normally on a normal basis, I wouldn't go in there and spend $200 on a day. Yeah. It's not whinging, but the argument is just that we wish it was cheaper so we can make more money. Let's not pretend it's about people concerned for others actually in poverty. At the end of the day, we are in business and we want to make money. So, yeah, we are whinging in a way because it means less money for us, or, we have to source out elsewhere, etc., etc. Because, at the end of the day, we are resellers to make money. And it's nice that we can give back to the community in that way, rather than it just going into some big business corporate wherever the money goes. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel better buying from my local charity shop than I do going in and buying from Myers, because I know that my money from the charity shop is going back to the community. But at the end of the day, I'm a business owner and I've got to put food on my kids' table, and I've got to clothe my children, and I've got to pay for their private school fees. And I've got a car to run, or a car to service. I've got rent to pay, and I've got to make the money off my bills. So if this is the full-time income that I've chosen, at the end of the day, I need to make money. And so, yeah, we're going to whinge a little bit about the fees if it means it's harder for me, makes my job harder, makes less money in my pocket. And, at the end of the day, let's be frank here. There's not a lot of rich resellers out there. I don't know many. I don't know about you guys. I don't know many rich resellers. We all seem to be doing it pretty basic, where a lot of us are happy with having quite a minimalist life, because we actually choose this for the lifestyle a lot of the time more than making like a heap of money. But, we still need to make some money because this is our living and this is what we do. And, this is what pays the bills. So, we definitely need to make money. I really like your channel, not trying to be rude. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I know that my channel can be a little bit controversial. What's the word? Controversial sometimes, because I do kind of like to debate things, and I do have strong opinions. I'm a strong opinionated woman. And, I'm quite happy to debate things with people. I will never totally say that my opinion is, the only one that is right. I definitely don't want anybody to think that I am ever making that in my video. Sometimes I do think that I speak some truth, and maybe it kind of gets to people sometimes hearing the truth. And I don't know, like, I'm not here just to make out that reselling is also super easy, because it's not. It's a really, really hard job. And, I don't want my channel to just be sugarcoating it and making it look like this perfect job that's so easy and so much fun and stuff, because I actually work like a crap load of hours, way more hours in this job than I've probably worked in any other job for a very long time. And, I put my heart and soul into trying to make this work for really quite a minimal yearly wage. So, but so I'll never sugarcoat that on this channel. I do like to show just basically what I do in my days, my daily life, and talk about topics that are, got some value or got some debate with them. I resell for the thrill of finding a lower price item and flipping it for a good profit. I mean, really, there's nothing more exciting, is there, Adam? Like when I sold that book the other day, like, I'm just using that book as an example because, I've talked about it on here before. But knowing that I paid 50 cents for a book and sold it for $99, woohoo, like, that's cool. That's exciting. Like, or if I pick something up free from Gumtree and, like Bron recently, she picked up something from, I don't know, Facebook or somewhere. She's made about hundreds of dollars of profit on this item that she picked up. It's, like, it's exciting. It is. It's a thrill to find something for free or for a really low price and then make money. It's way more exciting to buy something for $2 and sell it for $50, then buy something for $20 and sell it for $50, because, you haven't made as much profit in the end. But, it's fun. Like, this is a fun job. Like, it's a hard job, but it can be also really fun. I resell because I love shopping for a bargain. So do you know that I actually don't love the sourcing part of reselling? That's probably my least favorite part, is going through searching for all that stuff. It's probably because I'm not a very materialistic girl. I'm not really into clothes, fashion. I'm not very trendy. I'm just pretty simple in my jeans and t-shirt or my sweater. So like shopping for clothes and stuff has never been like a big, exciting passion for me. As a woman, it's never been something like, it's almost like a chore for me. If I have to go to a party or go out for the night and have to go find an outfit, it's actually almost a chore for me to go shopping to find something for myself, because I hate shopping for myself. So especially if I'm looking for like more of nightwear or going out wear or a party dress or something like that, I just can't stand it. So sourcing has never been my favorite part of this job. I much prefer doing the packaging and the photos and the listing and all the computer. Like, I love being on the computer. So I kind of like that side of it much more than the thrill. But I think more the thrill for me is when I sell it. It's not so much finding that bargain, it's when I've sold a bargain and I can, that's way more fun. Yes. Free from Facebook, turned it into $100 later. Have to source elsewhere. Oh yeah. Yes, you do, Mel. You boss me around every day via Messenger. Yeah, well, you keep coming back for more, Rod. You keep messaging me every day. In fact, at 7 o'clock every morning, I think there's 6 o'clock every morning, I've got a good morning. I've already drafted 10 things today. So yeah, you like being bossed around, Rod. Where are we? It's good to talk about stuff like this. It helps us all work out where we stand and what we do and why. I think it is. And it's also just a good reminder that, as resellers, our business is, what's the word? As resellers, our business is reliant on buying cheap secondhand goods for us to make profit. So it's a good reminder that we can't always rely on the charity stores for getting things at the prices that we need to make money. So I think, like, it sometimes, if we go into our charity stores and we start noticing that the prices are increased, we do have to start looking outside the box. We have to start looking at Facebook. We have to start looking at Gumtree. We have to maybe start asking our friends and family, do they have anything for us? Maybe we have to consider selling things on consignment. There's lots of different options as a reseller, and sometimes we can get a little bit caught up in doing the same, like buy from the charity shop and resell it, and then all of a sudden the charity shops get expensive and we go, oh shit, now what are we going to do? We have to look at something else. So I guess it's a good idea not to have all our eggs in the same basket, and we need to be constantly evolving and exploring new options. And, sometimes I guess maybe COVID has done that to a lot of us resellers, because, the reselling community, I think, has changed during COVID. The charity shops have changed. The pricing has changed. We haven't been able to source in the same way because shops have been closed. So we've all had to explore new options, and whether or not some of these charity shops start reducing their prices again after a few months, I'm not sure. It's going to be an interesting journey to follow. Where are we? Sorry, I can't see it. Garage sales and deceased estates are more work, but also very rewarding. We don't seem to have a lot of deceased estates here where I am. Or there you go. Maybe I'm just not looking. Maybe I don't know where to look for them. Maybe that's something I need to explore. I personally don't really like garage sales. I find I spend a lot of time driving around from one to the other, and then I don't come away with much. But that's probably because I'm quite specific with things that I sell, clothing, shoes, clothing, shoes, CDs, DVDs, books. I don't have a huge variety in a few plush toys or whatever. But, for other people like Rod, who loves to buy electronics, DVDs, and I saw Drew's metal detecting the other day. He bought some kind of old DJ turntable stuff, but he literally had to pull it all apart. He had a post saying up on Instagram or somewhere that he was pulling apart this entire thing to fix it up. Well, I would never even consider doing that. Do you know what I mean? That's just not something. I'm there fast. I want stuff that I can list fast and get out the door. But I also know that Rod sends me some of his sales each day, and he has some really high sales that are on electrical kind of things that I wouldn't even consider buying. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, and Rod's prepared to spend an hour packaging up some random typewriter or something. Whereas I want to stick something in a 2-second satchel, you know. So we've all got our different business models, and we're all looking for different things. So I guess that's why I stick away from garage sales, because it's, you know, it's less stuff that I'm interesting, I guess. Okay, guys, we've gone for an hour and 15 minutes, so I might wind it up here. But, you know, I really appreciate the chat and hearing everybody's opinions. I got some great opinions yesterday on my Instagram post that I put up about this, where people have given their thoughts. You know, so, yeah, I don't know. I'm still not really know where we are. Do we have the right to whinge? Do we not have the right to whinge about pricing? You know, at the end of the day, this is our business and we want to make money, and anything that stops us from making, you know, more money will make us whinge, I guess. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I am super grateful for the charity shops. I do 100%. As a business owner myself, and as been in business for 20 years, self-employed, I totally understand about business expenses, and that these charity shops do have a lot of business expenses and staff to pay, and shop fit outs and high rents in certain areas of the, you know, town. Totally aware of all that. I will never dispute that. But I do worry that they will outprice the resellers, and I do worry that resellers are a lot of their business. And I do feel like in business we have to cater to who our buyers are, and that's what makes a successful business, by catering to who your buyer is. I mean, I know that in past businesses, I have sat down when I've written my business goals and my mission statements. You sit down and you get a pen and paper and you write down, who is your ideal client? Who is your ideal, who are you targeting your business to? Do you know what I mean? Like, when I was a photographer full time, I would have it all written down. So I knew exactly who I was targeting my sales to. I'm targeting the mum who's got 2 or 3 children, who drives this kind of car, who lives in this kind of suburb, who earns this kind of amount of money, you know, who likes this particular style of photography, who wants natural and relaxed, who is happy for me as a photographer to turn up in my jeans and jumper, not in a pair of high heels and fancy outfit. You become very specific about who you're trying to sell your goods to. And we do it as, you know, in our business is a little bit different, because a lot of us are selling random bits of everything, right? But as a charity shop, they have to sit there and go, who are we targeting to sell the majority of our stock to? Who's going to bring us in the most money? Is it going to be Joe Blow who buys one outfit once a month? Or is it going to be Mel, who comes in here and buys 600 items of clothing from me a month? And then how many Mills are there and how many Joe Blows are there? They have to sit down and work out who their client base is, so that they're catering to those people as well. Or perhaps they need to offer some kind of special discount card for resellers, 20% off or something, you know, like some kind of 50% off day for reseller or something. I'm sure they could do something for resellers who could prove that they're resellers and get some kind of special card. Like, look after your resellers as well. And I do kind of definitely feel like, you know, the charity shops shouldn't rule us out. And you know, by getting rid of resellers, they're going to get rid of a lot of money. If they outprice themselves, they're going to lose a lot of money in their business, because we spend a lot of money. Okay, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for everyone who has come into the chat today. We've been sitting about 50 the whole time, which is just awesome, and I really, really appreciate it. Hey, Nick, I've just seen you there. And yeah, it's just awesome. So I I will be going live on Andrew Money Mental's channel on Saturday for a few birthday beers. You know I like my beer. Actually, I haven't been drinking very much lately. I've gone right off the beers. So I'm going to have a few as a bit of a birthday bash with Andrew, drinking with Andrew. And what else? I'm going to put a video out on my birthday next week on Monday. I think Monday. I don't know. I'm going to put out a bit of a recap video of my last 6 months of this year because it's mid-year for my birthday, so I kind of thought maybe I'll put out a bit of a mid-year birthday, just a bit of fun, you know, just do a bit of a mashup of some of my fun moments or fun times or people that I've gone live with that I've had a good time with or had a few laughs with. And yeah, I'm going to get cracking making that this week. So I look forward to showing you guys all that. It'll be a bit of fun, I think. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I'm going to go and get a coffee, and got my listing challenge going on this week. I'll just quickly say it. If you're not following me on Instagram under the hashtag #LoveToList, come and join in. We're doing listing challenges every second week where we it's just a challenge between yourself where you push yourself and motivate yourself and just use others to help motivate you. So yeah, anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining me today. Bye.